Hi, chemistry. Hey, I'm going to go through that discussion topic assignment on unit conversions, and I'm going to show you a method called dimensional analysis that's useful for converting between units and converting between prefixes in the metric system. And it's kind of the common method amongst chemists, physicists, engineers, anything technical where they're working with lots of numbers, lots of data, showing work, showing how they calculated different things. So it's really useful. It may seem a little overwhelming, but the point of this exercise is to have you guys, one, post something on a discussion board, and two, try and do some work to kind of get you out of summer mode a little bit, and then to post up, attach a file. So maybe you take a picture of your work, you try it, you get through most of it, but you're struggling a little, you take a picture of what you got, and you can post it up to the discussion post. So follow the directions in the discussion post, but you guys can see up above me I have a unit conversion sheet. Let me move it to the foreground. So this is a unit conversion sheet. You can find them on Google. I'll post this one up on Canvas. Okay, but any of them will work as long as the conversion factors are correct. And it also has metric prefixes that you can review. Okay, so I'll be referring to it as we work through this. So let me switch to my whiteboard. I'm just going to start going through my responses. So my house is 1.7 miles from the school. And the question asks you to convert, okay, from miles to kilometers. And so we need to determine the distance in kilometers. So to do that, I need to know the conversion factor. So this is called a conversion factor, basically a fraction. So we're going to multiply that 1.7 miles by a fraction, and I go look at my conversion factor. Oops. And I've already got my calculator up. Let's see if I can find this. So here's this conversion factors, and you can see down in the lower left corner, 1 mile is equivalent to 1.61 kilometers. So those are equal distances. So what I can do, I'm going to convert miles to kilometers, and you'll notice where I put the miles and where I put the kilometers, because what we're doing is multiplying by that fraction. And when you multiply that 1.7 miles, okay, by that unit conversion, because miles is in the numerator of the 1.7 and in the denominator of that 1.61, they cancel, meaning my answer is going to retain the units, the only units that are left, which are kilometers. So then I can come on, and if my calculator is going to work, I can take 1.7 times 1.61 and get 2.7. Now, don't worry about rounding right now. We're going to talk about something called significant figures and precision and how to round properly. For now, just round to what you feel comfortable with. Don't give me a ton of decimals. We don't need to waste time carrying this many decimals for this kind of activity. If you're sending something, a spaceship out to Mars, you would worry about precision. But for this, when you're just learning, getting to know your teacher and trying to get through the really hard assignment that he gave you on the first week, you don't care about how many decimals. So you just put like 1 or 2 and you call it good. We'll talk about how many to keep later, but for now, just go with what feels comfortable. Okay. Oh, and I'm not done. It actually said convert that to meters, which this conversion factor will be maybe a little more familiar. This time we're going to convert from kilometers. Again, I put that on bottom to meters, the one I want to get to on top. And you should remember that 1 kilometer, the prefix kilo, means 1,000. So basically, and you know from physical science, 1K is equivalent to 1,000. So I'm saying that those are equal. Again, that conversion factor has to be the same distance or same quantity or scale on the bottom and top. So I multiply this, I can do this in my head, that's 2,700. And I know that it comes out in meters because my kilometers cancel. Yeah, let me go through. Again, if you have questions, you can always email. We can figure out how this Zoom meetings are going to work. But I'll post up a lot of these videos, and you can watch them on the off days when I don't see you in Zoom, and then you can be prepared with questions when we do have Zoom. So next one, 36.3 years, the old man. Okay, it says convert your age to seconds. Okay, so this one we can go through, and I like to set up all the conversion factors first. So I'm going to go from years to days. Okay, you could go to months, but it gets tricky because each month's a little different. But I know 1 year has approximately 365 days. I know leap year throws things off. Okay, I can convert from days to, let's say, hours. 1 day has 24 hours. Okay, think through, where am I going to put hours? I need to get seconds eventually. Where am I going to throw the hours in this fraction? I throw them on bottom, and I throw seconds on top. Now I know, because I've done this a lot, I know that 1 hour has 3,600 seconds. But if you didn't know how many seconds were in it, you could go from hours to minutes, minutes to seconds. That would be 60 times 60. So here's the cool part. Go to a different color. Years cancel, days cancel, hours cancel. The only thing that's left is, seconds. Okay, so I'm going to take everything that's on top. And I'm sorry, I've got my calculator up. I'm going to take everything that's on top and I'm going to multiply it. And since there's only the number 1 in the denominators, I don't need to divide by 1 a bunch. So I'm just going to multiply. So you guys will see me do this here. I'm going to take 36.3. Maybe. 36.3 times 365 times 24 times 3,600. Okay, now that's a huge number. So I could write it all out. 1, 1, 4, 4, blah, 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 blah. Or a little review, I could write that as 1.14 times 10 to the, and I need to count from the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Seconds. And that's scientific notation. And many calculators have that notation. I could switch to scientific. I recommend that you get a good calculator for this year. We won't be doing a ton of math, but it's nice to have a good calculator. And if I check that out, it tells me it in scientific notation. That little capital E means times 10 to the. So that's 1.14 times 10 to the 9th seconds. That's how old I am. C says, oh, a food. I picked a bunch of pears at my parents' house to make some pear sauce. And so I grabbed a pear, weighed it. It weighed 264 grams. And this time, I need to convert from grams to kilograms. So again, I go from grams to kilograms. And this time, something new happens. I know 1 kilogram is equivalent to 1,000 grams. If you don't remember this, you go look at your sheet and you find kilo. And a kilo, means 1,000. So a kilogram is 1,000 grams. So you guys can see I have 1,000 grams is equivalent to 1 kilogram. This time, the 1,000 shows up in the denominator. So when I type this into my calculator, okay, the G's still cancel, the grams still cancel, but that 1,000 is on the bottom. So I'm going to type it in as 264 divided by 1,000. So anything that shows up in the denominator, you need to divide by. So that's in scientific notation, 264 or 2.64 times 10 to the negative 1. Or if you're just a normal person and you're not in scientific notation, it's just 0.264. And you always include a unit. You're like, well, I forgot what unit I'm at. You just look at what unit doesn't cancel. The only thing that's left is kilograms. So I know I'm in kilograms. And then the last, it says also to convert to pounds. So just go 2.64 kilograms. And I'm going to go from kilograms to pounds. So I can go find, I think it's down at the bottom, length, mass, weight. So I can go either direction. Okay, I have 2 of them here. I can go the 1 kilogram equals or the 1 pound equals. I'm going to go with the, since it's the first one, 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. Or had I picked, just to show you, pick the other one, and I go from kilograms, kilograms. My pen is acting really funny. Let me give it a second. This one is 0.454. I could do it this way. Both of those will result in the same answer. So we could try 0.264 times 2.2. Or I could try 0.264 divided by 0.454. And they end up being the same. I had rounded them different. 5.8 times 10 to the minus 1. And again, if you're not liking the scientific, you'd go to normal. Let's go back out. So it's 0.58. Okay. So that is how much the pear weighed. It weighed a little over half a pound. And I got two more. D. Convert your favorite temperature to Celsius and Kelvin. Oh, not favorite temperature. Temperature, your favorite place. So I picked a place in Hawaii that I've been to a couple times. I really like. 83 degrees Fahrenheit. I need to convert to Celsius and then to Kelvin. Now here's the problem. When you do temperatures, temperatures aren't scaled through zero. They're offset. They have a different offset. We're always used to, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing, 0 degrees Celsius is freezing. They don't both go through zero. It's a little funny. So you can't use conversion factors. You got to use formulas. So temperatures, you just go to your formula. And I want to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So I'm going to use the I think it's this guy right here. Celsius equals 5/9 times x minus 32, where it's in parentheses. So Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5/9 equals Celsius. So I'm going to say 5/9 times 83 minus 32. That's 5/9 times, let's see, that's 51. And then I can type it in on my calculator. 5/9 times 51, 28.3 degrees Celsius. Okay, so 83 degrees Fahrenheit is equivalent to 28 degrees Celsius. And then to go from Celsius to Kelvin, Kelvin is always Celsius plus 273.15, or we could just make it easy on ourselves and go 273, but let's just do that for now. So I'm just going to take 28.3 plus 273, and I'm going to get, what's that come out to? 28.3 plus 273, 301.3. And a little factoid, don't put the degree sign, it's just Kelvin. So you don't say degrees Kelvin, you say 301.3 Kelvin. So the cool part, this temperature, and this temperature are all equivalent, just different scales, different units of measure. So, okay, last one has a little tiny prefix, a nano prefix. So it said take your favorite color from the rainbow. I had picked a blue color. It was like royal blue, 437 nanometers. Now a nanometer is really small. Nanometer is a billionth of a meter. So, and again, you just look, oops. You find nano. Nano is 1 billionth of a meter, meaning there's 1 billion nanometers. Okay, a meter is, this long. So a nanometer is 1 billionth of it. There would be 1 billion nanometers in a meter. So I'm going to do this. Nanometers, meters. I don't like to use fractions like billionth. I don't like to use decimals in my fractions. So I always like to use 1 billion nanometers. And another way to write a billion is 10 to the 9th. Again, if that bugs you, 437. 1 meter. You could write out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You could do that and divide by a billion, or you just use your calculators. Again, the calculators on iPhones, calculators on Androids, not that good. The Windows calculator, not that good. So I really recommend you have a calculator. But I'm just going to take 437, oops, 437 divided by 10, and I've got my little exponent key to the 9th. I get 4.37 times 10 to the negative 7th. and that would be now, oops, in meters. And again, I know that because the nanometers cancel. Okay, so you have 10 to the negative 7th meters, which, you know, is, what is that? 10 to the negative 6 is a millionth. So you have about smaller than a millionth of a meter is the wavelength, the little oscillation that's hitting your eyeball to see blue. Okay, and visible light range kind of only exists between 350 to 750 nanometers. So it's a really small portion of the whole spectrum. The whole spectrum, right, with radio waves being really long, meters long, football field long, and then gamma rays and X-rays and ultraviolet rays being kind of on the smaller side of visible light. So I have talked a lot. This has gone 16 minutes. I hope this one doesn't overwhelm you. I am going to talk a little bit more. You can stop the video now if you just want to do the conversion. If you're interested in some other, if you've got a calculator of choice and you don't want to make mistakes in the future, let me show you some things to consider on that. I'm thinking back to the age one. So let's say on the flip side, we wanted to convert like seconds and we wanted to go to a longer time period. So let's just take, I don't know, Mr. Ford has talked for 16 minutes and 41 seconds. So I just looked at my timer. So I'm just going to take 41 seconds and I want to know what fraction of a day is that. Okay. And here's where people are going to get in trouble with this dimensional analysis. So I take 41 seconds and you're like, Mr. Ford showed me. I can go from seconds to minutes. I can go from minutes to hours. I can go from hours to days. And oh, this is going to work out slick. There's 60 seconds in 1 minute. There's, let's see, 60 minutes in 1 hour. And there's 24 hours in 1 day. Okay. Oops, let me hide the thing. And you're like, all right, all these are in the denominator, so I need to divide. Now, you're like, well, my math teacher showed me to just turn this into one giant fraction, and then since everything in the denominator just gets multiplied and everything in the numerator just gets multiplied, I'm going to type it into my calculator like this. This is just where I see a mistake, so I'm just being nitpicky already. Let's see, 41. I see divide by 60 times 24. And they're like, okay, it's 984 days, which makes no sense. But they've done it. They say they've done it. And then you got to remember that when you're dealing with fractions, you do need to group things on your calculator. So a couple options. I like this one. I always just would put parentheses down here and type it in like 41 divided by parentheses 60 times 24 close parentheses. This is a little more reasonable. You get 4.7 times 10 to the negative 4th days. Okay, 4.7 times 10 to the negative 4th days, or actually my preferred way of typing it in, 41 divided by 60 divided by 60 divided by 24. You notice all three of these factors ended up with numbers on the bottom or in the denominator. Anytime you have something in the denominator, you're going to divide. Anytime you have a number in the numerator, you're going to multiply, and I get the same answer. So I prefer typing it in with just division and multiplication. I don't deal with parentheses. That's just my preference. But the big thing, the takeaway from today, is the canceling of units. Seconds have to be on bottom and top to cancel. Minutes, hours, and the only thing left is days, which matches your answer. And then it's just calculating a bunch. So, all right, that's called dimensional analysis. This conversion sheet, hopefully you aren't too overwhelmed. There's a lot of useful stuff here. You always get a conversion sheet when you take tests, when you do quizzes. And since everything is going to be online, I'm assuming everything's going to be open book, open notes. So use these sheets. Don't rely on Google. I'm going to be bad. I'm going to say 36.3 years to seconds. I know Google will convert for you, but that's lazy. That's lazy. So you're already thinking Mr. Ford is going to be too hard of a teacher and you're going to want out, but really stick with it. Like, this chemistry class is a general chemistry class. It's meant to get you guys ready for college. So if you are college bound, challenge yourself, try these things. It's going to be a fun school year, even though we're doing it online. And the math may feel a little overwhelming the first couple weeks, but it's truthfully in chemistry, it's a lot of multiplication and division. We don't do a lot of algebra in chemistry because we're scientists. There is some algebra, but not a lot. We're just mostly doing arithmetic. So stick with it, be patient, ask questions, and chemistry will be a really fun class. So I have rambled, and I will see you guys on the Zoom meeting. And good luck again, first week. Let me know how you're doing. If you have anything that you need, send an email, post on the discussion board. We got to figure all this stuff out. So good luck, and I'll talk to you later.